This video is an excerpt from our weekly podcast. Go and watch the full podcast, check the link in the description of this video, or support us on Patreon at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. It's funny to discuss games on a platform like Android because we're all familiar with, the consoles, PC, as well as streaming services. But is Android really a legitimate platform to be playing games on? Now, I've changed my mind recently. I mean, the first kind of awakening for me was Rome Total War, when that was ported. Not just Android as well. This conversation applies to Apple mobile devices too, so iPads and shit like that. Rome Total War, right? Which is a game which is actually releasing today. The remake is
remake or remaster
is releasing today, and it's funny because this was the first game that came to a mobile device, and I was like, holy shit, it's not just a microtransaction film time sync. It is a decent version of a classic game. Mobile controls aside, it's a pretty decent, faithful port, and it's one of those experiences that you're thinking, well, this could kind of fit into my life a little bit, in terms of when I could play this. Obviously, there are certain times when that would be appropriate. Would it be great to be able to play that game? What happened this week is I initiated my Google Play Pass. Now, everyone's familiar with Apple Arcade, which is the £5 subscription. There's a lot of hoo-ha in the press when it launched. Pay £5 a month, get access to all the premium games that Apple are funding. Yeah, Apple are awesome, blah, blah. Not so much hype when it comes to the Google Play Pass, which has been a thing for a couple of years now. So you pay your subscription. I've said you get a free trial. I think it's a week or a month. I don't know. It's probably a week. So I thought I'd try it out because, I've tried the Apple Arcade. I saw what this one's like. And then I saw the games that were on it and I was like, this is so much better than Apple Arcade. There's so many kiddie games on Apple Arcade. They're all colourful, kind of all the art styles very kid friendly, you could see. And then you look at games like on the Google Play Pass, which This War of Mine, which is a really dark war survival game that I played on the PC originally.
I bought it on Switch a while ago and I really enjoyed it for a while. And then I think someone on my party died and I was like, I can't be dealing with this right now.
Broke your heart.
It's really good and I do want to go back, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy, man. It's heavy.
It's really good.
It's good. And then I saw the original Star Wars KOTOR was on there, the original from 2003, the BioWare classic. That's in there, fully ported. It's a bit weird with the controls, how you control it. If you pick up I'm not sure if it works with you use your controller with your Android. I'm just using my mobile phone. You can obviously use a bigger tablet if you want a bigger screen. But that's on there. I had a little play around on that. I've never played it before, and yeah, you can see where the BioWare kind of BioWare magic is, with all the deep RPG systems back in 2003. I'm like, holy shit, they were doing this back then. I had no idea.
Why can't you do it now?
Yeah, why can't you do it now? And it's just watered down bullshit that they're spitting on these days. And then there's games like Thimbleweed Park, which I played, I think it was on my Switch I bought it, which is a point-and-click adventure from Ron Gilbert, who was the creator of the original Monkey Island. So it's in the same kind of tradition as the Monkey Islands games. Point-and-click, pick up things. But it's more like Mulder and Scully from X-Files type of scenario where you're playing two characters. There's even a third character in there, but it's a big investigation. Characters even look like Mulder and Scully. So that's an interesting game. Again, it's on this Play Pass thing, and it's free, for a week or £5 a month or whatever it is. And there's Football Manager Mobile 2021, which is the newer one, which I haven't played yet. So that's another decent bit of value there. And there's other games like Reigns, which is a kingdom management card game. It's very popular. One where you swipe left and right to make management decisions for your kingdom. And there's also a Game of Thrones version of it for those of you who are familiar with it. And there's also Limbo on there, which is the predecessor to Inside, which is a classic game.
Limbo is excellent. Well, Inside's better, but Limbo's still really good.
Just those games alone, the games that you could play on PC or you may have played on PC, and you're thinking, well, these games are pretty legit. You know what I mean? They're not bad games at all. And in their time, yeah, some might be a bit dated, like KOTOR or whatever. But Thimbleweed Park is only a few years old. Limbo isn't that old. In terms of having a decent experience on a mobile, it's not out there. And then there's a couple of games that I played in depth. I want to maybe describe to you because these are pretty good in my estimation. There's one called Battle of Polytopia. This is like a turn-based 4X game. Think like Civilization game essentially. It's just basically a watered down version of Civilization. So there's no in-depth diplomacy or strategy, but the game is really compact and fast-paced. That allows you to focus on basically just unlocking your tech tree, building the armies, expanding your borders, and growing your empire. And yeah, it's a really good version of a classic formula, and I don't know, something about it just works well. For those of you who played Civilization back in the olden days, there's none of the complexity of what you'd get in like Civ 6 or something like that. But at its core, it is a Civ game, and you do get the same kind of feeling playing it. And there's this mode, I think it's a challenge mode or something. You get 30 turns to get your highest score, and your score is based on, the amount of territory you own, the amount of achievements you've unlocked, the amount of monuments you've built, that type of thing. And it's also got a multiplayer game to it. So if that appeals to you, check it out, Battle of Polytopia. I would recommend that one. The other one was Game Dev Tycoon. I saw this, somebody posted a link to the Cynical Brits video on Game Dev Tycoon, and I thought, he's such a funny YouTuber one you got. There's a guy who always breaks stuff, and I'm getting confused there. I can't remember what he's called, but he's really good. Anyway, Game Dev Tycoon. I saw this on there. This is like a sim management game. You basically become a game developer, and you start out, you're in your garage in the 1980s, and you basically research the new tech and new games, new genres, and then it's a process of trial and error then where you learn which genres of game work well on which platforms, because it starts out with like all the older consoles, Commodore Amiga on there, but there's like fake names just so they don't get like copyright infringements. And then you got like the Game Boy, and it goes all through the ages, eventually with like the PlayStation and the Xboxes and that. You're basically developing games, reaping in your profits, and then you upgrade from your garage to like an office. You can hire some staff, train them up, get publishing deals, and then you grow an army of loyal fans who can unconditionally support you, which is cool. And then eventually, like you're a big studio, and there's a multi-person development team working on like modern AAA games. For a sim game, it's pretty in-depth and it's pretty engaging, so it's quite cool. So yeah, check that one out again if you're into your sim, a couple of sim games there. So it just made me reflect a little bit on the Android platform, and a lot of people talking about like Google Stadia and how like streaming is the future. I think the opposite. I don't think like playing games somewhere else is the future. I think that future is like shrinking down technology and making like Androids faster. You consider the tech that's in a regular smartphone these days so much better than what I was gaming on when I was a kid. There's more tech in a smartphone that then got the first Apollo mission to the moon. Basically, people landed on the moon with less tech than what's in a smartphone. So it's not surprising that you can get these decent, legitimate experiences now on a mobile device that don't include just microtransaction time sync type of gameplay where you've got to pay to unlock more features or just to speed up progress on those kind of bullshit games that you see all the time. Yeah, I just thought that was it. Do you play a lot of games on your mobile at all, or
not at all?
Nothing interested you?
I mean, the only time I ever play a mobile game, it'll be some sort of very basic. I used to play Angry Birds years and years ago, something simple like that, not anything real game. I hate that. Well, people try and say mobile games aren't real games, and there is some truth in it, but I don't like that idea because they should be. They could be a legitimate platform for dedicated games like Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is a perfect mobile game because it uses the nature of it being a mobile game, and you can go around to its advantage. I think that's a really good example of it. Obviously, though, virtually every single mobile game is full of microtransaction bullshit, but they don't have to be. So occasionally, like you say here with these games and the ones on the Google Play Pass, that has the potential to put real games on a platform that is quite stigmatized by the lack of real games. You know
I mean, if you're a PC gamer, you might scoff at the idea of playing a game, you being a PC gamer as you are now, you can understand the appeal of using the best hardware to play the best games. There's nothing like it. However, there are times where you might you might use a mobile game to pass the time. For example, if you're on a commute, if you're on a bus or something, or you're killing time during your lunch hour at work or something, you haven't got a console available to you or whatever. You're just sitting there waiting for your wife to finish doing whatever the bloody hell she does. Because we've all been there. Women just take ages to do something, and you're just like, what do I do now for the next 20 minutes while she sorts her shit out? I know, I'll have a game on my mobile.
I think a lot of people who play PC or console gamers, again, I hate this distinction between mobile games and non-mobile games because they should be the same, but to be fair, they're not. The argument's like, why don't you just play it on PC? When I think that's neglectful of the reason you play on a mobile thing is you're not expecting the highest quality graphics or performance or anything like that. It's the mobile aspect that is the most exciting part. Like you say, you can do it on a train or on a bus or whatever. My big thing though is pretty much any mobile type game that I'd be interested in, I can get on my Switch anyway. Yeah. So that's got me covered for the mobile, not mobiles in literally mobile phone, but being able to move and do things and pick up and go and then put it back down for a moment. That's pretty much got all those bases covered, and it's better.
That is true. And that's the beauty of the Switch is, you know what I mean? I think
I almost play exclusively in handheld with my Switch as well. So
yeah,
it's not the screen size that's a problem for me. It's all about the portability.
So there you go. I just think it's interesting the way that the lines are being blurred a little bit now. I think mobile gaming has come on a lot in the last few years, and I don't think it is what it used to be in terms of the quality of the games on the platform. If you've ever tried Apple Arcade, I think they've put like one of the more recent basketball games to it, which is quite a big haul. I haven't done enough research to remember what the fuck one it is. But you know, I think in terms of the future, there's more likely that you'll be gaming in handheld than you will be streaming in future, because there's just technical issues inherent in streaming that you just won't overcome. Latency is a thing, and you can never solve that problem. Yeah. Whereas you can minimize technology, like, you know, graphics capabilities of today will one day be available in mobile. You know, they'll shrink it all down like they have been doing over the last X amount of years, forever in technology. Everything always shrinks. So you think about the gaming PC I used to play games on. This thing in my hand right here is better than that. So why shouldn't I? You know, I loved the games back in the day. Why is it illegitimate? Why is it laughable to be able to enjoy an experience on a mobile phone like this? It's not. I think the more time goes on, the more that'll be. I don't know. I'm trying to, in my head, I'm envisioning people like scoffing at me playing or talking about mobile games. Yeah, we're a serious gaming channel to a point, but let's not be snobby about it. You know, if people have good experiences on a mobile, why shouldn't they?
They don't
I definitely recommend
have to
it.
be microtransaction, you know, gacha, gambling, Candy Crush bullshit. There are a few real games on there. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Once developers take it seriously as a platform rather than just a money-making machine, which is always the problem in this bloody industry. But you're right about streaming. Streaming will get there one day, but it's not there yet. It's a cool idea that you can be able to stream from wherever you are, but the internet infrastructure of the world's just not good enough yet. Stadia is like 5 minutes away from being shut down at all times, because they still haven't fulfilled a bunch of their promises. I think there's at least one commenter though who occasionally pops up on the channel, and he's like, streaming is the future, this is the way of the world, we are going to get there, fuck you PC bitches and console fanboys, streaming's where it's at. And I'm like, oh, honey, I'm happy you're enjoying it, but let's just be real here. Who's having the better experience?
So there you go. That's my mobile pitch this week, I guess. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to go and watch the full podcast, head to the description of this video and you'll find a link to our new podcast channel, or head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming and get early access.